Big dogs eat first. Seattle's defense isn't chasing the Legion of Boom. It's building something darker, nastier, and harder to survive. But with the league coming for them, can the dark side strike twice?
For the Seattle Seahawks, has already built his culture, has already won a Super Bowl. He's a defensive guy. Yep. Here's him talking to one of his guys.
Derek, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you bull rushing right now near the quarterback?
I'm not trying to hump. I can't see behind.
You can't be trying to hump right now. This isn't the time for it. Damn it, Derek.
That away, good timing. That away, Sam.
Stay away from the quarterback.
How when I read clearly pass?
Get him out. Get him out. Get him out.
What do you want me to do?
Get him out. Get him out. Let's go. Get him out.
Damn. Oh, my God.
Talking back a little bit.
What the
Hey, you can complain all you want. You can complain all the you want. You're too close. That's twice. It's not smart. So you can all you want. But it turns out I'm running the practice.
I like that. Derek Ho, by the way, kind of publicly going at the coach.
Yeah.
Saying, man, what am I loud? And you heard Macdonald immediately inside. You saw him go, yeah, right. You think that's happening? Starts chirping right back. I think you got to have the respect of your team to be able to do that. But also, the offense sees your defensive coordinator and defensive head coach doing that and appreciates it. And I think that echoes the sentiment of every single football practice I've ever been at about how quarterbacks get treated, which is why the Raiders news with Kirk Cousins and Max Crosby has been so crazy to us.
But that confrontation was only the beginning, because behind that new identity was a defense determined to erase the past and build something even more dangerous.
And then I remember like halfway through the season, our defense was balling. We're getting takeaways, shutouts against offenses and stuff like that. And I started seeing stuff on Twitter. All the guys on the bus were like, everybody's comparing us to the Legion of Boom. And then, we were like, we got to make our own thing. So, me, D-Law, and Jay Reed, we were like kind of sitting in the back of the bus, like some of the vets in the D-line room. We were like coming up with all these different names, and we talk about how it's like dark in Seattle, and we always talk about like cutting the team's water off, like don't let them score and all that type of stuff. And we kept talking about this like dark thing, how it's like hard to come to the PNW, play in this like cloudy weather. Defense is shutting teams out, and we were like, this is dark side, man. It just and it stuck. Everyone loved it.
You were adamant when you got here, especially when you guys started to play well, that you guys needed your own identity, because obviously being in Seattle, there's a lot of, ghosts of Christmas past going on with a lot of things. But you guys did. You guys created the dark side identity. You guys freaking dominated all last season, all the way on your way to a Super Bowl and dominated in that game. How important was that to you, and why?
I think it's so important because something I learned at a young age is no team is ever the same. So even though we have majority of our guys back this year, we have majority of our coaching staff, majority of our locker room stayed the same. This year is going to be a different year than last year. So we should never try to chase what we did last year. No team should ever try to chase what has happened in the past. And, everybody in Seattle, including in this building, has so much respect for the Legion of Boom era and what you guys did here. Like, you guys were amazing. And it's like, you guys set the standard and the tone and, the code for what it looks like. But at the same time, every year should try to create their own. And, like you said, I think when I first got here, I kind of realized that was just the energy around this place, even outside of the building. You could tell people just really held on to that old championship team. And I just felt like we weren't going to get anywhere by doing that, because you're never going to make it somewhere by trying to copy something else.
Right.
Continue to be myself, continue the same process. But at the same time, to go through so many losing seasons and go through the peaks and valleys, like you said, I've had good moments and low moments, and kicked while we're down, all those type of things. And to finally be year 12 now, and getting that Super Bowl with a team of men who just love each other, I think that was another part that made it so special. Like, this is a group of guys that I've never been around before, man. It's like these teams really fight for each other, love each other, and I think because of that, like, we deserved to have a Super Bowl ring to show for it, and to have a opportunity and chance to come back for reunions together and keep seeing each other and keep staying in each other's lives, because this was a special group of men that, you know, I fought with last year, and it's cool to see that, you know, we have a reason to celebrate each other.
I love great defense. You know, it's just because people don't appreciate it no more.
Yeah.
People don't appreciate great defense, but
also from my perspective, what made our defenses a little bit different from each other is like we have great secondary, don't get me wrong, but if you ask,
y'all built from the front.
I feel like we built up front, man. It's like we're built in the trenches. We got great linebackers, great D-line, outside linebackers, and you guys were kind of built in the secondary. So we're a little bit different in that way too. So it's really cool.
But Mike Bennett in the big three, we've never won anything without you guys.
Exactly.
You know,
same with my secondary. We got Spoon. We had all them boys out there. You know, Job, Kobe.
Because they always say we don't give them credit.
Yeah, exactly.
I give y'all credit. But I love playing with those guys because they put so much pressure on them. Even if you look in the NFC Championship game against San Francisco, where I tipped the ball away, Cliff bulled the right tackle right into Kaepernick's lap, and he had put pressure on him all day. Forced a bad throw. I mean, it got there, but he didn't complete it in the way he wanted to. Cliff had a big impact on that play and every other play in the game, and so did Mike Bennett. I mean, you look at Sports Illustrated on the day after the game, and it's the D-line. You know, it ain't the secondary; it's the D-line. They over there giving Peyton all he could handle, and I think the same was true for y'all Sports Illustrated cover. It was the D-line, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Big dogs eat first.
Yes, sir. I agree. I mean, that's the best way to win, in my opinion, is getting to the quarterback. However you can affect the quarterback the most is the way you're going to find a successful defense.
Big dogs eat first. That is the mindset behind Seattle's new defense. The Seahawks are no longer trying to recreate the Legion of Boom. They already built something different, something darker, more physical, and built around one brutal idea. Get to the quarterback first. Mike Macdonald has already built his culture. He has already won a Super Bowl. And during practice, you can see exactly how demanding that culture is. When Derek gets too close to the quarterback, Macdonald immediately stops him. Derek, what are you doing? Derek pushes back. Macdonald doesn't care. You're too close. That's twice. It's not smart. Then comes the message that tells you everything. I'm running the practice. That isn't just coaching. That is control. But the most interesting part is what happened after this defense started dominating. Halfway through the season, Seattle's defense was flying. Takeaways, shutouts, quarterbacks under pressure. And suddenly, fans started making the comparison everyone in Seattle knew was coming. The Legion of Boom. But the players didn't want that. They wanted their own identity. On the team bus, Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, Jaron Reed, and other veterans started throwing around names. Seattle was dark. The weather was dark. And the defense was making opposing offenses disappear. They talked about cutting the water off. No easy yards. No easy points. No escape. Then someone said it. Dark side. And it stuck. Because they weren't trying to live in the shadow of Seattle's past. They were trying to create something the next generation would talk about. And eventually, that identity produced the one thing that makes a defense truly dangerous. Proof. Seattle didn't just call itself the dark side. It played like one. The Seahawks finished 14-3, allowed only 17.2 points per game, and produced a staggering plus 191-point differential. Then, the postseason arrived. Seattle destroyed San Francisco 41-6. And in Super Bowl 60, the Seahawks beat New England 29-13. That championship made one thing clear. This defense wasn't built on nostalgia. It was built from the front. And that is where the dark side separates itself from the Legion of Boom. The old Seattle defense became famous for its legendary secondary. But this version starts in the trenches. Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, Jaron Reed, Boye Mafe. The philosophy is simple. Make the quarterback uncomfortable before the secondary has to save you. Because when the big dogs control the line of scrimmage, everyone behind them gets to hunt. And that brings us to the real question. Because winning once is impressive. Doing it again is something else entirely. The league knows Seattle now. There is no mystery. There is no surprise. Every opponent knows the Seahawks want to control the line, pressure the quarterback, and suffocate the offense. And that makes the next chapter much harder. Because last year's success is now everybody else's target. But Seattle doesn't want to repeat last year. They want to become something new again. That's the mentality that makes this defense dangerous. The Legion of Boom created a standard. The dark side doesn't want to copy it. It wants to create its own. And if Seattle can continue winning through the trenches, continue attacking quarterbacks, and continue playing with the same chemistry that carried them to the championship, then the rest of the NFL has a serious problem. Because the dark side already proved it can reach the top. Now it wants to know something much more frightening. Can it stay there? And this time, everybody in the NFL knows exactly what is coming. They just may not be ready for it.
Mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.